A reasonable question that has been asked is why not remodel the high school in its current location? That is something that has actually been studied several times over the last several years, and the problem always comes back to the same thing: space. There just isn't enough space at the current site to build the size of building we need to serve the students we already have. Parking has been an issue for several years at the high school, and complaints from the school's neighbors of student and visitor parking spilling onto the city streets are common. The city streets around the school are also site of frequent motor vehicle and motor pedestrian accidents because they were never intended to handle the current level of traffic. Our athletic fields and outdoor spaces are only just adequate to the needs, our current needs, leaving us no real means of expanding our offerings. With no land to reclaim for building, that would only leave us one direction to go: up. To get the space we need, we'd be looking at a multi-story building that would be out of character with our community. It would also do nothing to address the issues around parking and outdoor space and give us zero room for future expansion. On several occasions, there have been attempts to secure adjacent land, including purchasing it, without success. Not every field is for sale, and the district has no means of making someone sell. Remodeling the existing high school into a new middle school, however, will save about $30 million over the cost of building a whole new middle school, which is a tremendous savings. This is possible because middle school has more modest needs than a high school. There's no student parking, for example. Athletic programs are more modest. And middle schools only serve 3 grade levels, not 4 like high schools. On the other hand, there is no way to expand the current cafeteria and gym spaces in the current building. So, a remodel into a new high school would mean replacing more of the building than the current plan calls for. We wouldn't see anywhere near $30 million in savings that way because the amount of the existing building we could reuse would be relatively small. Adding the space we need to expand career and technical education would also be nearly impossible because that requires larger, more open spaces that can be adapted over the next 50 years to reflect changes in the types of careers available to our students. Several new high schools in the size we need have been built along the Front Range in the last several years. They've all been built on around 80-acre sites based on Colorado Department of Education guidelines to provide adequate space for current and future needs. The current Roosevelt site is only 27 acres, less than half of the necessary amount. At the same time, new middle schools are being built successfully on sites of around 30 acres, again based on Colorado Department of Education guidelines, almost exactly what we have right now. The land for the new high school is being donated, so there's no taxpayer expense there, and it'll save $5 to $7 million on procuring land. Nearly all the money being raised then for the bond will be going into the actual buildings and facilities themselves. The bottom line is simple. The plan to build a new high school on donated land and remodel the existing site into a new middle school is the most cost-efficient, cost-effective way to get the facilities we need now and for years to come. Future expansion on both sites will be possible should it be necessary, and we will have an efficient, safe, and modern schools for all of our current and future residents.